automate the process and create the trust, first level of a trust between all the participants into the network, the blockchain network itself. At the end, we will find out that we have like whatever transaction is initiated, it means at the end will be saved in one place. And this is a place where we called it the ledger. What about this ledger? The ledger, whatever here you can tell, like all participants, once we save in a ledger, it means all of them will be having the same copy. We say replicating the transaction or copy of the ledger itself. So in this case, we have consistent information saved in one place. And this is make it more efficient, faster, and secure more. And even now, accountability. What it means accountability here. If somebody of the participants here are doing or through them, did something, abuse the transaction or do attacks or something. Now it's very easy through the blockchain to identify what's happening here. So this is what's the benefits of what the main benefit. Usually I refer to this as a distributed system, an immutable ledger. What it means immutable here? It means I cannot change. Once I add it to the ledger, I cannot change, I cannot delete it, I cannot update. So it is, we say one way. And one way here, maybe through a different slide, I will show you once I go deep, little bit inside the network now. So we'll understand what we mean by one way itself. And where we can use it, it is used everywhere now, everywhere, in different sectors, maybe in supply chain. I know maybe here some of audience in industrial engineering. I have one professor actually from industrial engineering, or I help him on a blockchain for special cases, special use cases with a supply chain, where at the end it shows that we save a lot of time and that also make it more secure and accounted. So it means if somebody did a mistake, we know through the supply chain who did this mistake and we have to finish it. By the way, the network, the example I give it to you in terms of the car example, this is types of the network, a blockchain, where I called it the private blockchain. There are a different type of a blockchain where we refer to this to the public blockchain. Four important characteristics always we have, or the blockchain give me these characteristics. We have what we call the shared ledger. It means it's one place. Any transactions between these participants that they start want to exchange the asset, they have it in one place. And what's nice, immutable. It means I cannot change it. Anything will be there at me. So what does this mean? It means if there is a mistake, this is where accountability here coming. I can open the ledger or retrieve the information. I know who commit, we say, for this transaction. Who sign it digitally, of course. Everything, by the way, here it is done automated. There is no human interaction here with the solution. It will be through the network itself. It will be automated through writing the code. The most important, it is the smart contract, where here we define what are the requirements, for example, I needed to change the ownership of a car from my name to Dr. Muhammad Iman name. So in this case, we need to fill a form. In this form itself, this is what we refer to the smart contract. This will be automatically implemented and executed. All what we need, just provide the information and we'll check. What will check? For example, we'll check Dr. Muhammad Iman is buying the car from me. We'll check his age is eligible. He has enough money to buy the car. All these types of the checking, I'm just give you an example. This will be done through the smart contract. Make sure this is done. How this is done, I will not go on the details, but this is just briefly the main point of the smart contract. What's nice also, here, when I mentioned that we have many participants, sometimes there are information, I exchange it as a manufacturer only with the government. I don't exchange it with the dealer. So blockchain will help me to enforce here the privacy. Enforcing a privacy in terms of like we just the information shared between dealer, manufacturer and government, only they can see it. Other they cannot see it, given they are in the same network. Yeah, this is the like the most important thing. Yeah, with this is just example of shared ledger, and I usually refer to this as if you have an open bank account. The first thing when you open your bank, like you log in and you open, what do you see first thing? Any answer? If you open your bank account online, what's the information you will see? The balance, right? How many money you have in this? Yeah. So this is what we call the asset here. It's the balance or the money that we have. If I like to see the details of how much I spend, how much is transferred to me, and so on, this is the transaction. This is what we called it like a blockchain now, the transaction inside. So the balance itself, it is what we refer to word state value. Word state value, this is where if I withdraw money, the word state will change. As a user, I can see always our participant, I can see the word state. The transaction only participants from the network, they can see the details. How the blocks are connected, if you are from informatics, I know like some here are from informatics, think about it as a linked list, but one-way linked list. And we connect the blocks to each other through a specific function. We call it hash function. So it means I can go forward, but I cannot go backward. This is the beauty of the hash function. And it's not easy to be like hacked. It's not easy to to discover what's the hash function. It's very complicated. Without going into the details, just keep this keyword, which is the hash function, in mind there. As I mentioned, there are types of a blockchain. Some are public and the other some are private. Whatever the example I mentioned, it is the private about the car. The public, like, you heard about Bitcoins. I'm sure you heard them, right? You know Bitcoins? Yes. Bitcoins, it's an application of a blockchain. Right? It's not a blockchain. It is an application that working on a blockchain, but public. What it means public, it means many participants. If I am trading Bitcoin, I am a participant. If Dr. Muhammad Iman trading, he is a participant without even like mentioning or our IDs, who is my name or anything related to it. The things here in public usually is very slow. For example, a transaction to do it in Bitcoin, this is take minimum 10 minutes to, we say, consensus, which is final decision about the transaction. This is what I just mentioned regarding the Bitcoin is just another application. Ethereum, it's another I called it computing platform, and especially for creating a smart contract where we can use that. How we do the chain itself, hash function, or another technique, we use it what we call the distributed ledger technology and refer to this as hash graph. How I can implement and implementation. When I teach the course of blockchain, I teach it as a development. I teach my students how to develop the blockchain. So I do all the development through open source. And it's one of the Linux Foundation project. It's an open source and it's called the Hyperledger. I just use the tools which are existing with the Hyperledger, allow me to develop the whole solution itself. It follows the 3-tier architecture, and we have a presentation, business application, and then data layer. Let me give you the example and map it to this architecture. Here, a presentation, I have my mobile. I want to buy a car. Let's say I want to buy a Toyota car. So I open Toyota.com, for example, and then I customize my car. This is the application. Once I say purchase, press like or click on purchase, it means I am initiating a transaction. I am submitting transaction. The transaction itself will be received by the business application layer, which are the Toyota company. And after that, if they approve, yes, I have the eligibility and I have the money and so on, it means now the ownership of the car will be under my name. This will be done through the data layer and a blockchain. So it means car, it's already like registered under Nidal Nasser. And this is now, alas, we say that it's committed. It means this is the final and it's saved. If there is a mistake done, no, I forget the spelling name and so on, I have to initiate another transaction because I cannot update in the ledger. So I have to initiate another transaction to do this. How the transaction, we called it it has 3 phases, which I will briefly also explain it through steps. The first one, endorsing, and the other one, it's the ordering, and the last one, it's the validation or the committing, final committing. Let me show you how usually it is committing at the end. There are many different algorithms. The consensus algorithm that is we use for committing the final transaction. What we mean by committing a final transaction means it's approved and added to the ledger. This is what it means. And how we do this? Many algorithms here, proof of work, proof of stake, and so on. What's the difference between them? It is the efficiency, the time, and how they are scalable. It means some of them are limited for small participants. For example, the example I gave the car, we can use the Kafka Zookeeper. This is perfect for this. You have to use the proof of work. Proof of work, this is the one that it's used for this purpose. Briefly also, I have many slides actually behind this, but I hide them because of the time, but I will give it to you so you can know the details. But I put you here the 7 steps of committing and finalize ending of a transaction. The first thing that the client, like me, I purchase the car, I click purchase. I am submitting a proposal for a transaction. This type of a transaction will be to the first endorsing here. All the committee, all the participants, usually in development level, we call them peers, but they are members, participants, all the same meaning. So in the peers itself now, who is involved if somebody from the network, if somebody buy a new car, for example, dealer, manufacturer, government, but not the leasing company or insurance, for example. Also, this is one, but not the bank. There are different participants. They will receive this transaction proposal and they will sign it digitally and make sure that whatever the information is done there, it will be updated that the car from old name, which is the dealer company, to my name. This is what we call the RW values, where we set the RW value through the endorser. The endorser, after do this 2 steps, like updating RW and sign it, return it back to the client. If one of them say no, it means the client will delete the transaction. If everybody agree on this, it means now the transaction or the client will submit in step 4 here the transaction itself to what we call the ordering service. Ordering service, all what it's doing here is just creating a blocks, putting a transaction in each blocks. This is what ordering service will do. So what does this mean? It means the ordering service is not serving only one client, many clients at the same time. The next step after the ordering service will create the blocks, will send it to the committers. Committers, another peers, could be the same peers or different peers. Doesn't matter here, depending on the use case. Yeah. Here the most important thing. Now the committers now will see the signature from the endorsers from the first phase. If they match, yes, they know this is, for example, the manufacturer signature. This is the dealer signature. This is the first step of validation. The second step of validation will see the RW. Are the RWR changed or not? Once they see these two like done, it means now we say we have a valid transaction and add it to the ledger. Once it's added to the ledger, it means it will be replicated for all participants involved in this transaction. Not only that, I am the one as a client initiate this, I will receive a notification. You, congratulations, for example, the car is under your name. So it means that this is to confirm that I'm done with this. This is a brief about blockchain, and I hope I give like the overview of them in a brief like that. I will move to the different technology which we use it in our solution. It's the IoT. Anything you think that for example, here the temperature, controlling the temperature in this room, it's an IoT solution because we have a sensor in every air condition. We're measuring the temperature. If I set the temperature here to be 23 degrees, so it means once it's reached 23 degrees, what will do the air conditioner will issue, which is to the actuator to stop the cooling. This is automated, right? If it's now become hot, it's the opposite now. The cooler will start. So the actuator will start like the cooler, cooling the place here. Whatever the type of the fan or whatever equipment we use it in the air conditioner. This is a solution of IoT. So at the end, we need two different devices here where act in the solution of IoT. We need a sensor, we need an actuator. So at the end, this is something that we need the sensor to sense and communicate, and then make orders based on these values. And then think about it, I'm give you just an example now in our room here, right? But in general, now, if you look carefully around you, many different IoT solution exist. And this will generate a lot of data. An example, I recently even read it in one of the articles. It is just one trip on Airbus A380, which is the huge airplane between Singapore and London Heathrow. It's generating in one trip, one way, just the 4 engines they have it generated 20 petabytes of data in one trip. So consider here now it's become very famous everywhere now to use the Internet of Things. Any different sector, health, industry, education, smart cities, in your home. I will show you some application that we have. At the end, I will say why we have it now, why we have the IoT now. Because the advance in semiconductors allow us to develop more small devices that can be used as a sensors. So I usually refer to this, the IoT is not a single player solution or technology. It's an ecosystem, complete ecosystem that it's enable us to use it. Many application, maybe I will go through the application here. In your home, most of the homes now, or if you have the digital lock, you have the camera, you have the Alexa, turn off the lights, Alexa, turn off on the lights. So all these types, or watering the garden. You don't need to go watering the gardening unless you are old like me and I like to do it manual. I don't want IoT to do it. So now once it's sense the moisture inside the soil, it can tell now to water or not to water. So all these are just examples of what we have. The other in your city, in any city now, many of the cities now, in terms of traffic lights, lighting the streets, waste management, grid, distribution of electricity and water also. all that types of like it's implemented with IoT solution. Always remember this, yeah, how much data will be generated and what we will do in the data, because I will come to this later. Many things like in your shoes, in your arm, like now counting steps, heartbeats, many things that we can do. Like this is all IoT solution, by the way, because once you have sensor, something can act. This is it means an IoT solution. One interesting, like related to maybe even apply here in Indonesia, like some remote areas, or even in my like country. I'm coming from Lebanon. Some like countryside, like where my village even, we don't have like medical center there. We have maybe clinic, but not a major medical. We have to go to a city, like nearest city, to get the services of health. So in this case, if it's an older people or a rainy season like now, so we don't need to go, like attach some sensor like in the house or in the body of the person, and based on this we'll be monitoring. The doctor remotely will monitoring the patient. In this case, you don't to do actual visit, actual physical visit to the doctor unless there is an emergency. In our cars, now like 6,000 plus sensors and actuators plus softwares and middleware are connected to the cars. Maybe here I'm just mixing between electrical car and the like gas car. But anything now it is related to the car can be easily identified through the using the IoT solution of the car itself. How the IoT solution usually, there are different approaches or network like topologies that it's for. One is decentralized, where we have on the left side here the like all the sensors. They start sensing, sending all the data to a centralized place. And this is where we call it decentralized analysis. If you like to make it more distributed, it means different solution and different places, location. Then it means I have to do it the other approach, which we called it the distributed analytics. So it means the data will be saved in one place and then will be queried the data through different like nodes or different computers around the place. It's not in the same place. Yeah, the other like approach, which is more for business now.
Materi gue standar, kajian materi dengan mata kuliah manajemen konstruksi, sama jelaskan bagian mana dalam materi yang dikembangkan untuk topik.
So the other like approach, which we use it for business, it is where we collect the data, and if you need the data or what is useful of the data, you have to subscribe. If you have to ask questions about the data, then you have to subscribe, and then like we'll provide you the solution. So a great solution, IoT, but still having a lot of limitation. I will summarize the limitation, like because of a huge data that generated. Usually if you are doing like writing a program that's read from a file, usually you read it from the file. So it means you bring the data to the program. And the IoT, this is a challenge. I cannot bring all this amount of data to the program. So in this case, we say we will send the program to the data. This is another way of distributed like solution where we can utilize. The other thing, it is like the high maintenance cost of the solution, especially if we scale it up, if it's make it very like demand. Maybe before yesterday, I gave a talk also where we have utilized the how we do this in the greenhouse. A huge greenhouse. I speak more about this. Again, I will share all my talks I did because this is my fourth talk, by the way. So I will share all my talks with Dr. Muhammad Iman and Dr. Alimuddin, and can they share it with you? Important things related to IoT. IoT, it's a business-driven technology. What does this mean? It means there is no standards. Everyone can having his own like business. Again, in one of my talks also, I talk about a sensor that we developed. And we are just waiting for a different approvals where we will be able to deploy this as a real product in the market. So it means I follow like my own like a protocol, a stack of a protocol that it enabled me to do the solution itself. So What's the risk here then? The risk means if we don't follow standards, it means there are a security holes. It means attacks, it's easy in these types of the no accountability also. It is a centralized solution. Centralized solution, it means if one node is damaged, it means the whole solution will be stopped. So in this case, we have to find a solution on overcoming these short or limitation of the IoT, which is a very promising technology, which we can use. I propose like whatever characteristics in a blockchain to use it with IoT, and this is my way of integrating now. Start integrating blockchain with the IoT. Briefly, also I will talk about how this is. A blockchain is decentralized. IoT is centralized. So in this case, move IoT to be decentralized. And this is very important where we avoid what we call the single point of failure. This is the most important problem in centralized, and move it to be peer-to-peer communication, following the concepts of peer-to-peer communication. The other thing is immutability. It means whatever happening on the IoT solution will be saved in a ledger, which we cannot change these events. These transactions, it will be saved in one place. Blockchain allow us to create another level of security through what we call the authentication and authorization, the devices itself that is allowed to join my solution itself. Reliability here, it means if something happened in a specific node, I can now accountability here, which is we do tracing where the error happened and at which node. I know which one creating this error or this type of abuse for whatever solution that we have it for the IoT. Autonomous here, smart contract will help me make all the solution to be automated, because based on the conditions, based on requirements that I will define the smart contract, easy now to IoT devices to exchange the data without any a problem, any be scared that there is a harmful kind of attacks and so on. Cost saving, this will reduce the cost, so we don't need the high maintenance cost every time. Security is the most important point. As I mentioned, single point of failure will be avoided by using the blockchain a solution. In addition that, I'm adding extra level or extra layer of security to avoid the attackers to attack my solution in IoT, which is not standardized and easy to be attacked. So where we can use it, again, many domains that now integrate the blockchain with the IoT. These are some examples actually where we are. One of them in the transportation, one of them in health and other factor, industry in general, now it's depending on this. How we can implement now a blockchain with IoT, I come up with 3 different approach. The first approach I call it IoT to IoT. If there is really trust between the devices I am working on, so the involving of the blockchain, which is you can see in the circle here, it will be less, because we have reliable trust between the devices. But if this is not the case, it means it's become a must IoT blockchain. So it means now here the core, any data I will exchange, which is exchanging the data, it means the transactions. So any transactions will be done, should be registered through the blockchain. Of course, will increase the time of a processing, but this is normal in a blockchain. And depending on the consensus algorithm, this is where we'll have the what we call it the performance in terms of the delay of committing to the final transaction. The third one, which is we call it hyper. So here, depending on the use case, and the decide of this is the judge will be based on the developer background and experience. Yeah, without going in the example, but this is one of where we use it in what we called it fog or edge computing. Yeah, we have one solution also, like before maybe 2 days, I already present some work related to this. The third part of my talk, it is where we have the AI component is added. You remember I told you IoT generate a huge data? So, okay, we have the data. What's the useful of the data? We have to get like some insights from the data. AI here, which is the field of a study, like AI is just computer science field of a study. Under this, where now the machines will be able to learn from the data. Once it's be able to learn, it means now we can get what we can like getting from the data itself. Let me give you an example. What will be the temperature tomorrow at the same time? Tomorrow. Can anybody tell? Don't talk to your phone, of course. Can you tell like what will be the temperature tomorrow here in the same time tomorrow? It's very hard, right? But now the machine can do that. If we have the previous data, which we called it the history data, it means we learn the machine on the previous history data, it can predict. This is what we called it the model of machine learning. Machine learning will accept like two types of inputs as a numbers or as a text. But nowadays we don't have only number and text, we have images. Once it's come to images, it means now we need another like a group of learning, which we call the deep learning. Now, I'm sure like if I give like a set of data, a data set about myself in a different days, give me now or let the machine learn about my face in different days. Give another day my photo, it will identify this is Nidal Nasser. But if I turn left or different positions up and down and so on, give the data, can the machine or do still identify me? Yes, through deep learning. So deep learning here where we use it to more like insight on one type of giving you more insight about the input, which is the images. Not only that, after the images, what we have nowadays, you use it every day. ChatGPT, are you using ChatGPT? Don't be shy. I use it every day. It's become part of our life, yeah. So take it easy in terms of. So once it's come like to the ChatGPT and so on, this is under what we call the generative AI. The input is different. Machine learning, we have text and the numbers. Deep learning, we have the text and numbers, and in addition to this, the images. In generative AI, we have a lot of different types other than what I mentioned. But video, audio, even code. Code is an input. I can use it. Or any synthetic data, that is data that we generate also to be as an input. Under this, of course, there are different types of the models that are generated, which is, you are familiar with ChatGPT, Gemini, Cloud, DeepSeek, and others. I'm sure you are expert than me, more than me, like on these things. Yeah. What's your favorite like AI tool now? For school? Cloud. Cloud is good for generating code. This is what I got from my students. Yeah, but my advice, okay? You know, like before these tools, what we were using, Google, right? If we want to search for specific information, I use Google and you use Google. Now what we have a smart Google, but be careful of using this smart like tools. Let these tools useful for you, not to control you. You are the judge at the end of final responses. Because ask now ChatGPT or any AI like tools, any question, what you will find, there is an answer. But if this is the answer correct, you are the judge here. So yes, I use it like even to generate code because it will save time. But most of the time the code is generated, it is not even correct. I have to tune it. I have to modify the code itself until I reach to the final like code that I needed. But save my time, of course. Instead of spending 2 hours writing the code, Now, half an hour, I am done with it. So please take it as an advice. You control it, not the tools control it. Okay? Yeah, without going on the details here, like also machine learning, because I just brought this one. We have what we call supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. Because later I will need these types of types of algorithms in machine learning. Especially we will use the reinforcement learning, and in reinforcement learning, we learn. If you learn, you get more reward. If you learn by mistake, you will be punished. This is what we call it reinforcement, a brief, like in a simple word. Yeah. If I ask my daughter like 5 times 7, she say 35, I will give her some can or money as a token. But if she told me 12, it means she did a mistake, so I will teach her. So she did the mistake, it means it's punished, but will learn. This is how the reinforcement learning is working. The other part of what's interesting in the machine learning, what we call the federated learning. Federated learning make it a distributed solution. So it means one central, we call it a global or the global node, will be able having the model. The model will be distributed in different nodes. And the models will be used to train every node that we have at the bottom here on their own data. Once they update, it means what's the global model now? We need update for the optimal parameters, we say, which is we reach the optimal or not. So we'll take these parameters and send it only to the model without sharing the data, which is excellent solution in some sectors. For example, in health, we don't want to share the data with everyone. Very important in banks and industry sometimes. We don't want to share all these data generated by, let's assume, whatever in down here, different IoT solution. Okay. So we don't want to share. All what we share, it is the update out of the global model that we received it there. The next 2 slides actually is just like what I just mentioned here and how it's important to preserve our privacy here in terms of the data and not to share it with others. Moving to the use case, now I cover the blockchain, I cover IoT, I cover AI. I combine all these in one solution. And the solution here now, like we want to, with these all types and the attacks is happening on IoT, how we can trust, how we make sure that we avoid these types of the attacks. So here where we introduce because IoT is a distributed solution, decentralized now becomes solution with the blockchain. So in this case, federated learning, we found it the best to be able to be used. How to reward the node, which is the IoT node here or device, if it's not, we want to make sure this is not, it's safe, it's not harmful. So this is where we use the reinforcement learning. Let me explain this through the architecture. But before this, we are addressing here a specific different types of attacks, but I will focus on one. Usually in machine learning, we have what we call it labels. We label our data. And once we label our data, it means it's easy to switch now the labels. This is type of attack. For example, the first record in my data sets belong to class A, the second to class B. I can switch between them. This is the attacker. Once you switch between them, it means that this is a kind of the attack we want to avoid in our solution. Many different solutions happened here, like as a background, but limited and does not having the integration of these technologies together. So this is our solution. If you can see, whatever in microcontroller, the devices we have it, this is we consider it to be a local node. Whatever in the blue here, this is what we call the global node. Global node that will generate now, of course, any devices here will sense, just collect data. We use it to collect the data. Enable for us to keep the data at the nodes, we have to create like a kind of model that is easy to work on small devices like the sensor, because it has limited life. These types of the, like we called it the tiny. Yeah, I'm almost. Okay, sure. So I will just explain the architecture and with some results, because that's the most important. So what we have here, like the nodes are generating the data, but at the same time, we want to keep the data here. We don't want to send it like to a global here. So in this case, we create like a small, like deep learning model, and it will be the model at the blue here. And what we have here, the blue, it's having the model will be sent to the nodes. Nodes here, because of limited, it is very light. We called it lightweight like model. It will use it to train based on the data that it has. And after that, we'll retain back to the global the optimal parameters for the learning itself. In this case, we don't share the data. All this communication is done through like a specific protocol, a very well-known protocol for communication and IoT, which is the MQTT. This is the protocol. So what's the point here? Like, so I don't know which one is a malicious node or there is an attack. So it means whatever update we will receive, based on the update, the global now, through the blockchain that we have it, will be determined like this should be rewarded or should be not rewarded. And rewarding here will be registered, and also like the any incentive will be like registered here, and any new devices also will be registered in the blockchain. So anything will here. So now the blockchain, through the information we have it, if we have a node that is receiving rewards, it means give me indication this is safe. If this is a node that is receiving punishment or penalized, it means what? It means maybe not safe. So in this case, we have to check this node and see if it's an intruder, for example, or any types of attack that's happening on that level there. This is the like general solution where we use the blockchain to register any new node, register any transaction regarding the rewarding. You can see the rewarding or question mark. There is suspicion here. Why? Because it's receiving punishment every time. So what's going on? We want to understand this. So everything here. So it's very easy now. Go back to the blockchain and identify which one with a low reward. And based on this, we can determine this is attack or not attack. This is a type where we can keep like tracing the attacks, at the same time preventing the attack in advance, not to wait until the attack happen and then we can conclude this is attack, how we address this. Tools that we use them, it is like a lot of tools that we use to implement this. Let me just skip this. This is just a quick setup like to our device or solution that we have it. Raspberry Pi 4, it's used here as a node where we have it as a sensor and then or attach it as sensor, and we attach a memory just to make sure that we have enough like space to run the model. One type of the attacks were identified. There are 3 types, but I'm just presenting for you one type here, which is the mislabeling. So I have a class A, B, C, but in the attacker will flip between. And this is a type of attack where our solution were able to identify, because what? The updated parameters out of the solution for the model, local model, not the global one, it means give me different results from the others. So this is indicate this should be like punished. Where we test this, we tested in many different like data sets, 4 different data sets. Something related to a greenhouse, which I told you, like I speak about it, like and some other like very common. These are the three like open data set. We found them even in Google, but this one we have it like in real, like from British Columbia and Canada, in specific greenhouse. What we found here, like maybe quickly here, what we create the convolutional neural network, which is very light and efficient in terms of like running on small devices. And the specific, of course, like what we called it mobile net v2. This is the one that we use it. And our goal, it is just to focus on accuracy as a performance results. Results here, maybe just quickly, we found out our solution with different data sets is stable. And this is very important aspects of robustness. We want to make sure that we have a robustness like solution at the end. It shows that the accuracy always is increased and is stable at the end. This is very important once it's come to robustness solution. The other one, which is like show the effect actually in terms of the accuracy of a prediction. We found out the most successful one and having a high accuracy, even 99.25%, it is the Manset like a data set. The others, they have like low accuracy. And why low accuracy? Because of their complexity. It was not easy like in the device to handle these types of things. But in terms of like accuracy in general, this is a promising solution. Yeah, once we use the blockchain, we found the accuracy is increased for the data based on any data set. At the same time, we called it the loss error is decreased. The loss error is defined what is the difference between the actual value and the predicted value. Yeah, many results here that here show the effectiveness of using the mobile net v2 like model in terms of just a small model that can run on the IoT devices. Yeah. Here the label flipping attacks were even be able to get like a high percentage of accuracy with a different data set to identify this type of the attacker. At the end, like we have already published actually a conference paper, which I'm presenting this week, coming week actually, on the conference, which is the IEEE GlobeCom. And already we have a journal article in progress. Actually, it's done. Yeah, it's done, but just went to finalize the final reading for this, and then we submit it. And at the end, Kirima, yes. Thank you. Good timing? Yeah. Right. I'm good.
A very interesting presentation from Professor Nasir. Yeah, I have no breath to stop your presentation because it was really interesting for me. Yeah, that was really close to my research actually. And how about the participants, the audience? Is there any question about the blockchain, the IoT, the AI, and the combination of the three technology, upcoming technology?
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
Ask any question, even in Indonesia.
Indonesia, I can translate it for Professor Nasir.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Jangan malu-malu, boleh bertanya dalam bahasa Indonesia. Bahasa Sunda boleh, bahasa Jawa boleh.
Maybe the professor will give bonus if you ask a question.
Yeah.
Bonus marks for question.
Bonus nilai bagi yang tanya.
We do this in our like. Yeah, with my students, I usually encourage them. Ask a question, you will get 0.5 mark.
Yeah.
For each question.
Ada yang ngambil ini komputer dan masyarakat. Tambahan nilai. Oke. Silakan.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. My name is Ripana Putra from informatics major. So I have interest and just a little confused about uh, blockchain that you mentioned about the blockchain, about the transaction in blockchain. So I'm just confusing about the difference between the transaction with using blockchain and the traditional database. What's the difference, and is it good choice for blockchain to use, especially in the manufacturing company, because this country is most is company in manufacture, like a chemical and in the industrial, because the mostly of this company is not already using a blockchain. Thank you so much.
Yeah, actually, let me just. First, I would like to answer the first question, and then I will move to the second. The first, it is is it what's the difference when I can use blockchain? Is it like in database, normal database transaction can be used? Actually, there were one slide, I hide it because of the time, but you will see the details there, where not to use a blockchain. Yeah? A transaction, if it's on a small data, don't use a blockchain. If a transaction on a random, like bank transaction and so on, don't use a blockchain. Where a concurrency is happening here, don't use a blockchain. These types of let me think about where I have to use it. Use it only with a big data that you want to save, and with the trusted types of the members or participants. At the same time, where there are a sequential sequence steps happening on transaction. Otherwise, if it's random, it's very difficult to do it with the blockchain. It's not difficult; it's impossible. To do it. The other question, which is related to industry or manufacture, like where we can use it. Can we have the slide back? Because I have maybe 180 slides. Yeah. I hide a lot, but I don't mind to. Let me just. Yeah. This one of the solution, it is with industry, like oil industry, where we use like a blockchain. Of course, IoT solution. Let me just show you we have the IoT solution, a smart contract to use it for supply chain production in terms of every reservoir of the tank of oil. We want to keep information about it through the IoT, the level of the oil, even the quality, everything related to reservoir, as a reservoir building, and even the content inside, which is the oil. After that, through a smart contract, and we make sure that the IoT devices, it is trusted, which is having involvement, this smart contract, then I can just let the end user through web servers to access the information. This is one solution. The other solution, actually, also I use it sometimes. Yeah, this one. In airplane industry, airplane live long, 50 years sometimes, right? Or even more. Yeah? So the first time we use a part to assemble the airplane, maybe who will remember this part? Yeah. So in this case, if we're using a blockchain, it means the same specification for that part. We use it. Whatever time we return back, we will find it saved. So I can now use the same one that I developed from the beginning. And based on this, I just use it with the airplane. This is another example that I'm just referring to. The other one, which is very interesting, it is the smart refrigerator. A smart refrigerator now, through IoT also and blockchain now, I can tell now my refrigerator can tell me if the milk almost to be out. So I have less milk in my bottle. So we'll tell now the vendor who delivered the milk to me. Suppose that somebody come now and knock my door and told me this is the milk you ordered. I didn't order, but the refrigerator ordered it to me. If I say I didn't order and I claim that I'm wrong, the vendor itself who delivered the milk to me will go back to the blockchain and we'll see that my refrigerator issued this order. This is another way, like it just as an example, where it's actually implemented now, where we can use it in industry in general, in manufacturing. Of course, it's still like anything that you want to keep and trace it for a long time, the blockchain, it is the best solution. Good question. 2 questions. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. Oh, there is online. Yeah. We'll come to you, don't worry. I have several questions, profs. Is there any published research or empirical evidence demonstrating the significant impact of artificial intelligence on enhancing performance, efficiency, and decision making in real world application? If possible, could you provide example from your own work or other recent? Yeah, in terms of like, I will enhancing performance, maybe in my area, like, or solution that I did in this is one solution that we do, like on how to avoid attacks into IoT solution. Doesn't matter where the IoT, is it implemented in hospital, is it implemented in industry? We are trying to avoid the attacks. This is our goal, like in the solution. The other work also, which I talked about it 2 days ago, about the greenhouses. Yes, it's use the AI, we use it with the greenhouses where it's enhanced the productivity. Not only like, let me give you the example on this. And if you are interested, whoever asks, you can email me because I have already like published work on this and I can share the work. We use it to identify types of diseases and groups on the greenhouses. So early disease, like a discovery of this early disease, it means we'll not lose all the groups. All what we need, just remove this. And this will be done through like a specific like solution, which is based on machine learning too, where we identify this like type of a plant, this specific type of a plant that it has a disease. And we focus on tomato because this is the data set that we have it, and the specific like disease, which is the fungus, the white powder like kind of fungus. So this is where we use it. And the other question, are there established framework model to classify level? Yes, there are like, many. Let me just comment also, like, because I need to provide a kind of like feedback on the questions. If I'm working, sometimes there are a work, most of my work so far, a prototype. But there are a work now, it has become a product, two works actually, 2 products. One of them is already, we have a startup company in Riyadh about using AI with, not AI here as AI, I use large language models. I use, LLM, where we use it as a back end to help people with low mobility disability to use the 3D printers. You know, people, if they cannot move or something, so it's very hard to them to use a 3D printer. So we make it like either text or voice interaction with the 3D printer and enable them to do it. This was a product, alhamdulillah, we start like a new company. We called it Vertex Technology. And this is, again, I can share also the website of this 3D printer, but it's not the 3D printer, it is how to interact with the 3D printer for a disabled person. Yeah. And we got a lot of interest from industry, especially from rehabilitation like centers, where they have a lot of people, different types of disability. So they like to let them use it. Even schools, special schools, there are special schools for disability. They also like to get interest in the solutions. Oh, the second one, it's the sensor. We decided that we have the sensor itself. It's not only to sense and send the data, because this is will cost also and sharing all the data to the cloud. What we did, it's implementing part of the sensor. We called it AI logic layer. So it means the sensing and the smartness on the same device. This is a real, it's 5 by 5 millimeters, a device, small, and it's manufactured in Tohoku University. Here where I have the collaboration more with Tohoku University. But by the way, the idea of this sensor, sorry, you can, the idea, it was just from the vision, the vision. Yeah, the vision, it is just, the vision, the eye itself, they sense and act at the same time. This was the inspiration that we had received. Yes, your question.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Usama Abdulaziz, and I'm majoring in informatics. As you may know, that AI is using a lot of energy, especially clean water. Do you think that we can tackle that issue using IoT or blockchain? That's my question. IoT and blockchain, because AI is, the use of AI, especially generative AI, it needs a big data center, right?
Yes.
And it costs a lot of energy and also clean water. And with our climate situation, I think we need to solve the issue so we can save the energy and also the clean water for human. Thank you.
The green computing, and I will come to another computing, which I will through my answer. Yeah, this is, of course, if we keep doing this, at the end we will need more resources for the data centers. Data centers is growing. But what's nice also, go back to the what I call the ecosystem, the semiconductor. Yeah. Now, what is the processor in your computer? Any computer, anyone. Yeah, yours. Intel, it's CPU, right? Yeah. And if you are playing games, what you are interested in? GPUs. Or if you're developing models like me, I should use GPUs. Now, what's in market? After GPU, there is TNU, and there is TPU, and there is now NPU. What's next? It's the quantum computing, which I want to refer to. If we have the quantum, reach the quantum, these resources will be less, because the quantum will be faster with the less resources. Until that time, I really don't know. But in my opinion, of course, we have to regulate this. Usually, I consider this to be under the topic of AI ethics. AI without regulations and policies, it means we will live soon in very big mess world. We will be in a big mess. Yeah. So every country now should move regulating and write policies related on how we use AI. This could be helping to balance between the resources that we needed for any solution. Good question. All the questions are. Thank you. Sure. No, this is the beauty of a blockchain. Of course, the private key and the digital key, will be generated when you subscribe to the network through the digital authorization component. Yeah. If he lost his private, it means now there is a risk from it. And the blockchain so far, it means you have to be out and join again with a new membership report. This, of course, what does it mean as like a participant? Will affect my business. No, you will not use your asset, but the problem now, your asset will be identified with a different, like a private key. This like type of will introduce like a delay, more communication overhead, more like awareness for your client to know that this is a trusted asset itself. Yeah. Other than that, it is like this is why it is as your blockchain solution encourage you and make sure it's your responsibility. Make it safe. Don't lose. Otherwise, if you lose it, it become like very obvious intruder, or easy for intruders to go through you. So in this case, should be removed from immediately. Will be removed from the blockchain. No, you cannot, unless, of course, we are talking about the private. Yeah? Make it easier, private. If we're talking about the private, yes, I know you, I trust you, because you join me, because there are a trust between me and you, and we are exchanging the same asset. Yeah. If for a reason happening you, private key lost or get damaged or whatever, it means I still trust you and I trust your asset, but I have to remove it. Otherwise, you will affect the whole network. Through you, like the attacks were received. So in this case, like what I need, like is just to remove them, because I still trust him. I will ask him to rejoin again, but this will generate a different digital authorization private. A third party, yes, of course. Yeah. No. Third party, usually we don't get it involved in the membership of the participants. Third party, it is used to for example, for confirmation. Let me give you related to the example, the car. The bank is not out of my participants. You didn't see the bank or the insurance. Let's take the bank. But as a new like owner, I want to buy a car. Yeah. The participants want to make sure that I have enough money to buy the car. The third party now, it is the bank. Yeah, we will have access to the ledger, a high level, word state, we say, only to the word state values. So in this case, they will be able to identify, yes, this person can join because it's have enough like money to buy the car itself. This is a third party. It's not like exactly like it's participating into the whole network. Oh, this is public. Yes, of course. Yeah. Third party usually. Yeah. Like in Bitcoins, for example, the third party is just to facilitate the trading. Yeah, the transaction of it, trading of a transaction itself. So in this case, yes, we need the third party. And the third party, maybe again, like one slide, I hide it to show you the complete architecture. How third party can access the blockchain. They have their own, what we call the soft development kits. And most of them on RESTful like implementation like level, where we introduce. Time out. Anyway, any questions in the future or any help, I am still reachable. I put maybe my email. It is very easy. It's N, then my first name, nidal@gmail.com. Yeah. No, I use it, but this is the easy one, like, because sometimes when I travel, sometimes the email university, it may not work. So the Gmail, it will be the faster one. I didn't hear from the ladies. No, give it to maybe I can take another question from the.
Alright, thank you for the opportunity. My name is Tiawan Permana. I'm majoring at informatics. It's actually quite long question. If I can see the slide before the result, if it's possible, it's related to the question.
Can
Yeah,
you
slide.
hit the slide, please? Slide.
I need to clarify something. Not
Yeah, sure.
Asking, just asking. The before the result.
Which one?
There is this one.
This one, yeah.
I see there's a device on IoT modules. There is a local training. There is MQTT. I'm asking if it's okay. You explain us to the device and the data to MQTT and make sure with is it the blockchain to ensure is it the right data.
No.
Oh,
No, the communication is not with the blockchain. The communication with the global, model.
MQTT, yeah.
The communication is happening here, the blockchain will just register the value. Yeah. And based on this value, will decide to give incentive or question mark.
Okay.
Yeah. And based on this, it will be also saved here into the blockchain itself. So now I know from different nodes, which one having the highest reward.
Okay.
The more rewards, it means you are safe. This is an indicator. Yeah, you are safe. The less reward, this is where the question mark and they start asking now, investigating through what's registered in the blockchain, this specific node. Here, of course, in this example, I just make sure that the client want to be a malicious, because we have to introduce a malicious and how will be discovered. The rewarding itself as incentives or punishment, what we called it in, this is through the reinforcement layer. The registration here, registration for what? Here, for example, I have 4 nodes, but the future, I need to scale my solution. Any node I will add it will be registered in a blockchain. This is where we call it the member or participant.
Okay, because there is a time limit. Maybe for now, maybe the following up question, maybe I will email you.
Okay, sure. I will be happy. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, of course. Yeah. Thank you very much, and for the opportunity and for the invitation. Happy to be here. And as I mentioned, always this is inshallah will not be the last visit. This is the starting of many visits to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Nasir. We come to the end of the event, so I will give back to the Master of Ceremony. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much to our moderator for guiding the material presentation session with clarified professionalism and enthusiasm. We would also like to extend our deepest appreciation to Professor Nasir for your insightful explanation, valuable perspective, and inspiring contribution to our understanding of integrated digital technologies. And to express our gratitude, we would like to give you the plaque and the certificate that will be given by Dr. Bobby. And to Dr. Bobby, the stage is yours. Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Nasser and Dr. Bobby. And to Professor Nasser, please stay with us because we still have the souvenir from the Untirta that will be given by Professor Alimuddin. The stage is yours. Thank you. It's loud. Okay, please still stay with us here because we're gonna do a big photo session with all the audience. And to all audience, please join us to the front of the podium. Thank you. Okay, pardon. So the all audience, please stand up because we're gonna do a big photo group session, please. Thank you. Ya, teman-teman semua yang hadir boleh banget mendekat ya agar masuk ke frame fotonya. Boleh yuk yang di belakang kita maju dulu. Everyone, please be seated because I'm gonna close the event today. So everyone, we're finally at the end of today's guest lecture, and we really appreciate to all audience that's been attending the guest lecture. And thank you so much, Professor, for giving all of us a super amazing insight. And we've learned new things. We've learned about AI, blockchain, and many more. So everyone, please give one last applause to our amazing speaker. Thank you so much to all the committee. And with this, I'm Farah Safira as the master ceremony. Thank you so much. See you later.
Just last, actually, I would like to thank the master. She mastering the master of the session, actually. She is excellent, and thank you very much